It's been a long since I have posted my last video on this YouTube channel. As usual, I am very irregular right now. I was actually busy with my thesis work as well as my health condition was not very good. I was suffering from dengue hemorrhagic fever and the physical condition was not very good. I was admitted to hospital. So before starting out today's session, let's see what actually happened on my dengue hemorrhagic fever. It is the picture of gallbladder. Ignore the picture quality because it was taken from my home ultrasound machine. And the gallbladder wall was thickened. You can see gallbladder wall thickness was 12.5 millimeter, which is quite high. It was edematous wall. The scan was done on the 4th day of my dengue hemorrhagic fever. This is another picture of the gallbladder, and you can see that edematous gallbladder wall. Here's the picture of the right lobe of the liver from the enteroaxillary line, and you can see this is a slight pleural effusion present. This effusion was very difficult to see on X-ray. This is the picture of my spleen. It was 11.7 on that day, which is quite high for me because my normal spleen size is around 8 centimeter. That's quite a splenomegaly for me, though we want to see it as a prominent spleen in most of the cases. And if you compare the body height, then you can say whatever you want. These were the features of plasma leakage. So when I saw these features, I was quite confident that my platelet count is going to fall very rapidly. So the next day, the platelet became less than 50,000 and I had to get admitted to hospital due to my physical condition. That was not a good memory, but yeah, I fortunately got survived from this devastating fever. Anyway, so let's jump into our today's session. Today we are going to talk about the diffuse uterine leiomyomatosis. This is quite an uncommon case. Hopefully this is my first case, so I am very excited. A 41 years old female patient came with Metrorrhagia, Menorrhagia, Dysmenorrhoea, and lower abdominal heaviness and pain. She was also trying to take baby for last 10 years but failed. Let's see what we have got on ultrasound. Here's the transabdominal ultrasound picture. The bladder was partially filled and you can see the uterus is quite heterogeneous. There are multiple hypoechoic areas, quite look like fibroids, seen throughout the parenchyma. So that's a very confusing state here. Here are some pictures of the transabdominal ultrasound with partially filled bladder, so don't expect much better quality. I was checking the patient transabdominally before starting the TVS. So these are the hypoechoic areas. And on color Doppler, the myometrial vessels were quite prominent. You see, these type of large vessels are not seen at the deeper aspect of the myometrium. Here's another picture. It apparently looks like a fibroid and you can see prominent vessels around and supplying it. Let's jump into the transvaginal sonographic picture. Here's the longitudinal section of the uterus in transvaginal ultrasound. You can see diffuse, innumerable, ill-defined hypoechoic areas throughout the myometrium. The uterus looks quite bulky, but it is symmetrically enlarged, not globular like adenomyosis. You can see the endometrial echo here. Here's the transverse section. You can see so many hypoechoic areas of variable size and shape throughout the myometrium. You may tell it as a case of multiple fibroid uterus, but when you see this type of innumerable fibroids, this is actually a case of diffuse uterine leiomyomatosis. Here's the picture. You can see the uterus is enlarged symmetrically. The anteroposterior diameter was 6.1 centimeter. The endometrial echo was seen and the endometrial thickness was 7.4 millimeter. Let's see some pictures. You can see so many hypoechoic areas throughout the parenchyma. We have tried to measure some fibroids. Another picture of the measurement. Hopefully this was the largest one. Another picture, you can see so many fibroids. This is a transverse image. When I was rotating the transducer to see the transverse section, it was like, what is going on here? Another transverse image. This was the largest fibroid, hopefully. You can see throughout the myometrium so many hypoechoic fibroids. And the one with so many fibroids in transverse section. Now let's put some color Doppler here. On color Doppler, you can easily understand that these prominent myometrial vessels are supplying each and every fibroid. So they're very prominent here. You know, I have some bad habits, like when I see some vessels supplying any pathological structure, then I want to take sample from that vessel. So here's the peripheral supply of the fibroids. And the picture with the vessel supplying the fibroid. Let's take some samples from these pictures. You can see the resistive index was 0.46 to 0.6 in peripheral vessels supplying these two fibroids. If you look at the right image, you can see it's supplying with a very high peak systolic velocity. So in summary, the uterus is enlarged symmetrically. The myometrium is heterogeneous with innumerable ill-defined hypoechoic round to oval areas of variable size seen throughout the myometrium, replacing most of the uterine normal parenchyma. Color Doppler shows hypervascularity of the myometrium. So this feature suggests it as a case of diffuse uterine leiomyomatosis. Now the take-home message. Diffuse uterine leiomyomatosis is a benign and extremely rare condition in which the uterus is symmetrically enlarged as a result of the almost complete replacement of the myometrium by innumerable poorly defined confluent nodules. The etiology of these neoplasms is not completely understood. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe our YouTube channel and follow us on other social platforms. See you on the next one. Have a nice day.